Here we are outdoors. First of all, we'd like to give you a couple of tips on stance and shooting style. A good shooting stance is with the feet about 2 feet apart and angled slightly away from the shot. If you stand square to the shot, this can cause the string to interfere with the chest. If the string touches the chest at all, it will interfere very badly with the shot. The bow arm needs to be held out straight and locked at the elbow like a rod. This enables the bow to be drawn back smoothly using the upper arm and shoulder muscles here. A compound bow should always be shot from the valley. The valley is the lowest holding weight of the bow. The valley occurs when a straight line can be drawn through the limb, through the centre of the wheel and through the hole opposite. This point should coincide with your draw length and when you're at your correct anchor point. We have an arrow rest and a knocking point on the bow as set in the studio. We now need to fine-tune the bow. One of the best ways to do this is the paper test. We've set up a paper screen a few feet in front of the archery target. By firing arrows through the paper into the target, we can see how the arrows are launching from the bow. Here's the tears made by the two shots we've just taken. If we examine the first one, here's the spot where the point entered. And here's the hole made by the vanes at the knock end of the arrow. As we can see, the knock end went through low. This indicates a low knocking point. Also, the point of the arrow went through slightly to the right. This indicates we need to adjust the arrow rest slightly to the left. If we examine the second tear, we can see it's almost identical to the first. This indicates that both shots were the same and there was no interference by the archer or the equipment. Using the bow square, we'll now move the knocking point upwards. We also need to move the arrow rest slightly to the left. We're now ready to take a couple more shots through the paper. After the last adjustments, here's the results of the final two shots. The bow is now shooting good clean holes and is in a reasonable state of tune. Now that we have the bow shooting well, we've installed sights to help us to hit the spot we aim at. The rear sight takes the form of an aperture. It's set in the string and tied in place with serving thread. It's placed in a position that falls level with your eye when the string is drawn back. The peep sight sits in between the strands of the string like this. When you draw the bow, if the peep sight doesn't fall level with the eye, move a strand of the string from one side to the other. This will help to level it up. With the length of serving thread, tie a series of knots underneath the peep sight. Bring the strands over the top and tie again underneath the peep sight. And again. We need to do this about 8 or 9 times. Finally, end it with a double knot. And come back over to the top and a double knot on the top. We'll now trim the ends. This knot can now be slid up and down the string. We repeat the process above the peep sight. We again finish with a double knot underneath. And a double knot on top. Finally, we trim the ends. It's now possible to slide the peep sight up and down the string to give the correct eye height above the knocking point. The front sight is mounted into the two threaded holes here. There are many types of front sight. This pin type is adjustable up or down for elevation, or left or right for windage. There are 4 different pins on this sight, so they can be set for 4 different ranges. For example, 20, 30, 40 and 50 yards. There are 2 types of quiver generally in use. The hip quiver, favoured by target and tournament archers and clips onto the belt, and the bow quiver, which attaches directly to the bow and is ideal for field archery. One thing to remember about the bow quiver: if you've tuned your bow with a quiver on the bow, take your shots with the quiver on the bow. If you've tuned your bow with the quiver removed, then remove the quiver before taking your shots. The weight of the quiver and arrows on the bow will change the tune. This is a stabilizer. It fits into the threaded hole here. It absorbs much of the vibration from the bow. This long version is favoured by target and tournament archers. Field archers and bow hunters prefer much shorter versions. Arm guards. There are many different types of arm guard. Choose one that suits you, but always wear an arm guard when you practice to avoid this. Well, that brings to an end our introduction to the compound bow. We hope you've enjoyed the video. Remember, archery is a sport for all the family, so go out and enjoy yourself. From all of us at BOE, good luck and good shooting.